And for this afternoon, we're lucky to have the worldwide CEO of Saatchi & Saatchi, Kevin Roberts, who's going to talk on the insurrection at the edge. Whatever that means, Kevin. You figured that out by now, I hope.
I'll talk slowly for you Canadians.
Yeah, where's the exit here? He said he'll talk slowly for us Canadians, he said. He knows how to get our attention. We're going down to the Hockey Hall of Fame. We'll get a mask on him and put him in goal. We'll see how quickly he loves Canadians. So Kevin, what's the man not done? The highlights, the book that he's created, Love Marks, The Future, Beyond Brands, his ideas of reframe business and marketing, and indeed business to business itself. He's renowned for being an inspiration, value accelerator, work-life integrator, and this one I love, irresistible communicator. You're going to explain that one, I'm sure, yeah. Well, when you get up here, you can explain it. He's got a passion for football. He was with P&G 75 to 82, where he worked in the Middle East and Africa and was a group marketing manager. Overall, he's been very successful with current P&G executives. Very proud of the work that he's done there. And overall, we're very blessed to have Kevin Roberts. Welcome.
Thanks at least for the offer of the mask. I want to talk about insurrection. All right? I want to talk about why I've chosen that word deliberately is because revolution starts with language. Revolution starts with language. And a few months ago, I was talking to Bob McDonald, and Bob was explaining to me that we live now in a VUCA world. A VUCA world, a world that was volatile, a world that was uncertain, a world that was complex, and a world that was ambiguous. And I thought that was fantastic because that means it's the end of strategy. Right? Because when you live in a VUCA world, baby, good luck and Godspeed. This is not going to be about managing better or leading better. The winners in this kind of world will be the deep water surfers. Right? The guys that catch the wave early, ride the wave to the max, and then get out before they wipe out and catch the next wave. And that made me feel pretty stimulated and pretty invigorated. I used to play top-class rugby, and one of my coaches was a French international called Pierre Berbizier. And I remember once at halftime, he came into this game, we were losing, and he sat us down and he said, "Listen, there is no point playing better." This is Claude Meunier in Quebec, baby, I tell you. It's a freebie. There is no point playing better. You have to play different. You have to play different. And so many businesses are into incrementality and playing better, working harder, all good things, right? But to win in the VUCA world that Bob told us about, you have to play different. And the traditional centers of power and strength are all changing. You heard about that this morning, I think. Many European countries have got tough economic issues facing them. Japan's just had a pretty tragic year. The U.S. has got 14.3 trillion reasons to be worried. When I was at school, I was reading this Irish poet a long, long time ago, W.B. Yeats, right? And he said, "Things fall apart, the center cannot hold." So we can't look to the center for growth. I think the name of this conference was Postcards from the Edge, Ed, and I think there could be nothing more appropriate today. The year 2050, 80% of the world's population is going to be living in Asia and Africa. Africa, by then, is going to be twice the size it is today. Twice the size it is today. And many of us are still flirting with Africa and decorating and talking about it, but we're not really committed there. We're not really committed there. New power relationships forming, opportunity abounds, but it's a hell of a challenge to get out there when you've got your day job, right? Because if you're running companies, running businesses, inevitably the urgent tends to replace the important. And the important thing now is to get ready and to lead in the edge, which is quite a challenge. 1989, I was living in Canada, in Toronto, just up the road, with some of my old Pepsi friends here, and I went from Toronto to New Zealand. And In New Zealand, we have a particular way of facing challenges like this, and this is how we do it.
Yes, a new haka for the All Blacks.
In another life, they could have been hockey players. I'm a radical optimist, have been all my life, and crises like these one facing us need radical new approaches. Evolution takes forever, revolution takes 3 years. We need insurrection. You've just seen what happened in Egypt. It was amazing. You're seeing what's happening in Libya. This isn't revolution, this is insurrection. When Bob told me about his VUCA world, I, with all my P&G training, went away and immediately built on it. Which means I replaced it with a much better idea of my own. So the VUCA world that I see is a world that is vibrant, a world that is unreal, a world that is crazy, and a world that is truly astounding. We can do anything in this world, right? If nothing is impossible was invented for this vibrant, unreal, crazy, astounding world, everything can happen at warp speed. There is nothing stopping us. It is all about moving from getting things done to making things happen. Getting things done is not going to win in the insurrection. We've all got to make things happen. The center becomes the edge. Stephen Jay Gould, it was that first started talking about in biology, saying that change happens in any species at the edge. It never happens at the center. And if you've been to Paris lately, as I have, you'll know what I mean. They're still doing great Bordeaux's, and that's probably about it. So when change happens, oh, and the cheese is excellent. They have 187 cheeses, and they're proud of it. But I was in Geneva earlier this week talking to Bob's ABM group, and Geneva, you know, I was talking all about creativity, thinking, boy, I'm here in Geneva. The last thing they created was the cuckoo clock. It's tough. It is tough. So things are happening fast everywhere except Geneva, and and we're having but the great thing was at least the ABMs were, you know, the big advice I gave them was the advice that Samir and Sami Sharif gave to me was get your ass out of Geneva and get into the markets. Selling cases is strategic in this operation. I've never forgotten that. Okay, I come from the UK originally, all right? And the UK had a very big event a few weeks ago, right? Which was the royal wedding. Who watched the royal wedding? Oh, fantastic. For those guys that were busy watching the hockey, here's the version that you missed, which will get you back up to speed. 27 million views on YouTube in 1 week, and Prince Harry put it on Facebook, on his Facebook. Cool is that? He really is a screw loose, that boy. Anyway, I got 5 quick ideas to help go towards your $600 contribution to the alumni group. These should take care of $5 of that. So, first idea is embrace creative leadership. We live in the age of the idea. Ideas are the currency of the future. We will not win through process management, total quality, all this kind of stuff. We need all that. They're table stakes. We will win if we can unleash in your organizations the unreasonable power of creativity. The unreasonable power of creativity. That's where velocity lies. That's where speed happens. That's the big reframe. Creative leadership is about the characteristics. John Mader talks about the characteristics of a creative leader, and they are: he's international, he's networked, he has a comfort with ambiguity, actually a love of ambiguity. He thinks like an artist or a designer. He sees things visually. When we talk about P&G from the store back, we visualize that. And P&G is not the most visual of companies. It's hard work. We've got to get that visualization into all our organizations as creative leaders. You've got to be hands-on. You've got to be driven. We've got to be open system and interactive. One of these days, we're going to see companies led not by the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. It'll be the CEO as the Chief Excitement Officer. His job will be to excite everyone he touches with passion, with dreams, with hope. We will see the CIO becoming the Chief Ideas Officer and hopefully leaving the building. And we'll see the CFO disappearing. So we'll see the CMO as the Chief Motivation Officer. The second idea is you got to fire up your people, which we've just talked about, right? Most of your people are not in flow. Most of your people are being just pressured with process. They're pressured with the business of doing business. 40% of the time, they're spending their time in stupid meetings, doing stupid emails that do not drive the business, that do not drive involvement, that do not drive love for your customers. There's only 4 things. I've been working for so many years, and what I have learned to create a creative organization, you need to offer everybody just 4 things: responsibility, learning, recognition, and joy. Responsibility, learning, recognition, and joy. You have to offer them in every sentence, in every interaction, in every discussion. People love it, man. You give somebody responsibility, you give them learning. You get plenty of those in most organizations, but do you give them at the same time recognition and joy, or do you give them fear and pain and retribution and punishment? Or do you just don't give them anything at all at the end of the responsibility and learning? How many truly are learning organizations? We all believe we are, but if you think about Peter's talking about fail fast, learn fast, fix fast, we fail ever so slowly. Then we learn incredibly slowly because we analyze, we interrogate the data again and again and again, and we have meetings and we have consensus and we have discussions, and we know as leaders in our gut that it ain't going to work. We know it's not working, man. We feel it and we dread it, and it doesn't work. So we got to get from that failure stage to the learning stage much, much faster. And then we got to fix the thing overnight. Not analyze it, not report it, not explain it, but fix the goddamn thing. We got to create space for people where they can do that. Fail fast, learn fast, and fix fast. Okay, third idea. The sustainability color of the insurrection movement is blue, not green. This is not about business doing good and good business and all that stuff. I recently spoke with Al Gore. You remember Al Gore? He's one of the two most boring men on the planet. And you can choose the other one. I know my view. And he's the only guy. He's the only guy in the world that got a Nobel Prize for doing PowerPoint. So we got it. Forget all this green stuff. I think the insurrection movement wants to become true blue. It wants to be full of blue skies, blue oceans. Green's about fear. True blue's about optimism. Martin Luther King did not stand up and say, "I have a nightmare." Okay? Green's about obligation. True blue is about opportunity. Green asks what's to be done. True blue companies ask, what can I do? And what can I do right now? Green's about the environment. True blue fuses the environment with the economic, with the social, and with the cultural. And it's led from the bottom up. True blue is about do one thing. Get everybody in your companies just to do one thing, man. And then when you've done do dat. Do another thing. This stuff's easy. Here's one thing you can all try tonight.
Xixi no banho, queremos que todos façam. Homens, mulheres, crianças, brasileiros ou não, nobres, plebeus, músicos, desportistas, pessoas que são metade homem e metade monstro. Coisas do além, lendas brasileiras, lendas gregas, pessoas boas, pessoas não tão boas, gênios da arte, gênios da ciência, trapezistas, amantes, pessoas de outros planetas, fenômenos do cinema. Enfim, se você faz xixi, tá convidado. Faça xixi no banho. Ajude a Mata Atlântica.
Save the rainforest. For you guys, I know there's no news in that, but for the girls, this is a new idea, right? This is a new idea. Fourth idea is act now. One of the things Herbert Schmitz taught me was execution, 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 right? New is dead. There is no more new. New's already old. We live in the age of now. It's not a time for more initiatives, more innovations. We've got to have those. They're now table stakes. We've got to operate in the age of now. Consumers don't care less about retro and nostalgia. It's 10% of their emotional capability. 10% is in the future. 80% is living in the now. I want it now, and I want it all, and I don't want balance. We've got to give people stuff right now. We've moved from the age of interruption to the age of participation. Everybody wants to play with us. They want to play with our brands. They want to be involved. They do not want to be controlled. They don't want to be sold. They don't want to be dictated to. They want to participate. They want to play. They want to play. ROI, this is the end of ROI. It hasn't changed in 100 years. We still haven't got a clue how to measure it or predict it. We get half of it wrong all the time. It's always been like that. Nothing will ever change. Why do we still keep going on about it? Half the stuff's going to work better than the other half. God knows which half. I got no idea either. And if we knew, we'd stop screwing up, but we don't know, and we still keep messing it up. The real ROI to measure is return on involvement. How involved are consumers going to be with our proposition? How involved are they going to be with our brilliant idea? If we could measure that, which is very difficult, because for that you have to know not what consumers say or do, but how they feel. And that's emotional, which is dangerous territory. We've got to move from shareholder value to being purpose-inspired. You'd all know that because you all work for Procter. Brands are dead, of course. I would say that. They've been replaced by love marks. Yes. Anybody here in marketing? I know many of you started in it. Any of you still in